G'day and welcome to another episode of Building Ideas.
Yes, your home for all of the latest and greatest information about everything that's happening with building and construction right here in South Australia.
That's right, Jessica, and thanks to the Master Builders Association of South Australia and the state government, we get to share some great stories with you.
Yes, and today is no different.
Today's feature host is a privately owned family construction business that has been delivering building solutions across wide-ranging sectors for over 75 years.
And we are talking about none other than Marshall and Brougham.
I get it now, it's all coming together, and by the looks of it, we're going to explore the tasteful restoration and renovation of this beautiful home right here on Hutt Street.
Yeah, now this stately beauty has been brought back to life by Marshall and Brougham in collaboration with our friends at One Rundle Trading.
Gotcha, a lot to get through. Let's see what else is on today's show.
Along with exploring the restoration of Devar House, we learn more about Marshall and Brougham's rich history and their working partnership with One Rundle Trading to deliver this project. We get a reminder on the importance of paint safety, another hot minute from Bianco, plus Terry chats once more with the MFS to learn about some of those hidden dangers in the home. And I can't wait for this one. We check out the selection centre for Adelaide Green Homes.
Okay, Terry, it is quite the show. I want to check it out. Can you kick things off for us?
Go for
Great.
it. A great place to start when appreciating this redevelopment and renovation is with the Marshall and Brougham story itself. Throughout their long and rich history, Marshall and Brougham have taken a holistic and proactive approach to every project, working in close collaboration with all their clients. This has resulted in lifelong, multi-generational relationships, underpinned by impartial and objection construction advice to all their clients, transforming their investments into valuable and functional assets. To this day, their team is focused on providing the highest quality outcomes with regards to safety, timeframes, environmental standards and costings. And it's all able for you to see right here at Devar House. After the break, Jessica explores more of Devar House to understand just how integral the One Rundle team were in achieving this tasteful finish. Plus, we get a timely reminder on lead paint safety.
They don't make them like they used to, or the good old days. There's certainly sayings that we're used to hearing, but when it comes to paint, it's true. They don't make them like they used to. So today, we are going to talk about how you can protect yourself when using something that they used to use in, you guessed it, the good old days. Painting is the one thing that most of us can throw our hand at when renovating, and it makes such a bright, refreshing impact on the look and feel of our homes. The hidden danger, however, is the lead that was used in paint up until the mid-70s. As many of you well know, lead paint is toxic, and exposure to it while renovating, restoring or repainting can be seriously harmful to your health. Thankfully, there are measures in place to protect you, your family and your pets from the adverse effects of lead paint, and today we're going to learn exactly how. Tell me, what are the dangers of being exposed to lead paint?
Well, lead is toxic and it's important for people to be lead aware. Everyone can be poisoned by lead, but we're particularly worried about children and pregnant women as well, because children take up a lot more lead than adults do, and pregnant women, it can pass across into the baby as it's developing, and lead does impact the brain as well as your nervous system and your kidneys, amongst a range of other things. So it is dangerous and it's important to be lead aware.
What kind of circumstances would cause that paint to be exposed?
It's quite often dry sanding and things like that, so they're creating a lot of lead dust in the environment because that lead in paint is quite easily taken up by the body as well. So it is a risk, and particularly if you're not sure what you're doing, it's an even greater risk. So it's important to find out and again, be lead aware.
So how do you know if you've got lead paint in your house? Can you tell?
You can't tell by looking at it. A good sign is actually being understanding how old your house might be. So again, 1970s, that's when we started stopping lead coming in paint. You can never tell, but you can get good lead tests from hardware stores or paint suppliers that will be able to give you an idea.
What steps can people take now if they're doing work around the house to protect themselves?
Well, I think the really important thing is to get some really good advice. So go to a professional paint company to get advice on what to look for and how to test. SA Health's got advice on their website as well about the steps you need to take.
So there you have it. Before you get out the drop sheets or the rollers, or the sandpaper, or of course the paintbrushes, make sure you head to the SA Health website and check out that 6-step guide. Your nearest and dearest will thank you, and who knows, they might even help with the painting. Well, stepping into this building, you are immediately presented with the history, but also the thoughtful consideration that's been put into the design and the fit out to really transform this area into a bespoke, multifunctional space. Well, Josephine, sitting here with you, I'm not just saying this, you feel the energy change when you walk in off the street and you come into this building. We're in a different space now, and I know that you must have put so much effort into creating that, knowing that this needed to be a place for, you know, emotional, physical, mental well-being. How much of that, you know, it's deliberate, right? This has not happened by accident.
Thank you, Jess. That is so encouraging to hear, and I wish Fiona was in the room to hear that. She worked very hard to explain the brief to me. We've collaborated so happily, we've become great friends.
Yeah.
And it was exciting to have an old building to work with. I adore 19th century buildings, particularly Adelaide ones, because I feel very at home in them. I work on them almost exclusively.
Yeah. How important is it to be involved right from the get-go, as opposed to coming in at the end and sort of trying to tizzy something up at the end, but actually being there right from the start?
It's a huge privilege and a brilliant opportunity if you are invited at the very outset, and on this project I was, before anything had been done. So that was, it's kind of a bit scary, because then any stuff-ups are your responsibility. Thankfully there haven't been, and it did mean that I had an opportunity to help Fiona carve the spaces into purposeful rooms and spaces that she needed to achieve amazing treatments that weren't available anywhere else in Adelaide. Still an historic shell that people would be excited to visit, which they are.
It's a collaboration though, isn't it? Because you've got yourself, you're working with Fiona and Oscar and also the builder. So how does that work when you're coming together as a team to do this?
A building process is particularly important that the right people are involved. You can't really fudge. If the builder and the designer don't get along, it's a disaster. If the client doesn't trust the other parties, then it's a disaster. So this was a dream project because the builder, the designer and the client had the same vision, had the same desire to bring about a brilliant outcome for this building and for the people that would use this building. There were no egos, there was just a lot of creative consultation and excitement, and I think that has been achieved, because you said at the outset you felt the excitement, and I just love hearing that, because it was exciting to create, and it's brilliant that that sense of excitement is what you experience when you visit.
One Rundle's touch has certainly elevated the feeling right throughout Davar House, and Fiona is one happy owner.
Says a bit about Marshall Braugham's project management to get great trades that were almost like craftsmen, really.
Yeah, they were, and because they've been around for such a long time, like he's got those people that he knows and that he trusts. So that was quite a smooth process.
What are guests saying about the space now that you're working in it? Are they loving the space? What are your customers saying?
Oh, they love the space.
Yeah.
Yeah, we obviously are a functional business, and we have a lot of locals that just want to come and have a walk through and have a tour, which we would love to show them, but that's not always possible because we're obviously trying to run a business as well. So, but yeah, they love it. The community loves it. They've watched it from the ground up. So it's beautiful. They're so proud of what we've done, and we're so proud of what Marshall and Brougham and One Rundle and myself have put together. Like, it's just a beautiful, it's actually probably beyond what I thought it would be. I knew it was a beautiful building, but she's stunning.
She is stunning. It's not easy being green. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that is not the case anymore. When it comes to designing and building an energy-efficient home in today's era, making all of the right choices, it is easier than it ever has been, especially when you have the help from our friends at Adelaide Green Homes. Dan, how did you guys arrive at being green focused in the homes that you design and build?
We obviously started out building standard homes and went with the market trend, so to speak. But as we got further into becoming a builder, our lifestyles, how we lived, we're both farming backgrounds, and coming from a farm, you obviously inherently live sustainably, growing your own food. Yeah, that kind of rolled into building, and we were both interested in it. We knew that it was an element of the building we wanted to bring in, but as we got further into it and discussed it with potential clients, we quickly realised how much people actually wanted it, but it wasn't out there for them to be obtainable. Yeah, we set about educating ourselves more on it and making sure that we could deliver it to our clients. And now from there, we started Adelaide Green Homes.
So back in the day, people would go, oh, I want to be green, I'll get some solar panels. But there are a lot of ways you can be green or be mindful in your approach. What are some of the ways that people might not be aware of?
So some of the things that we do as a standard is passive design in the home. Many of you would have stood next to a glass door on the northern front of a house or the rear of a home and felt that warmth in the wintertime. So when we're designing a green home, we make sure that that sun can come into the home and heat your home up for free. And the opposite is in the summertime. When you're designing a house for the summer, you want to make sure it shades in the right areas and keeps that house cool.
So how does the process work when people want to start the conversation with you guys? You've got an amazing selection centre here. I could spend all day. What's the journey look like?
Yeah, so step one would be making contact with us and our Green Smart consultants that are educated in how to design a green home, how to go through our processes. They'll guide you through the whole way. And you'll come in and meet one of our designers. We have 3 in-house designers, architects that can design your home how you want to live. So obviously our forefront of our mind is to go through the design process and make sure it is an energy efficient home. But along with that, different people want to live different ways, right? So we will make sure we capture that. Once you've been through that design process, you would then get your house costed up with our in-house estimator. And then once you've signed a build contract, you'll come into our display centre here and make your selections.
Well, there you have it, folks. Green is the way to go. And with the help from the team at Adelaide Green Homes, you will be well on the way while getting awesome design and award-winning build quality. You know what? Keep an eye out in the coming episodes because we're going to check out their display home. Cannot wait. In the meantime, check out their website. Andrew, you've had your eye on this building for years now, so when the opportunity came to revitalise it and restore it, you kind of jumped at it, didn't you? Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's right, Terry. We're very familiar with the building. It's a very significant building on this corner of the city. Sadly, the development didn't work out that well at the time. It was the TPI building. It was a very kind of well-known establishment here on South Terrace, and then it was purchased, and then there was a development. But through that whole process, I was very familiar with the building, having been in it previously, and understood what the TPI did. Watching it get more and more derelict was quite sad.
When the current owners came along with the vision and they came to you, that must have been encouraging.
And at that point, they'd recently purchased it. There was a lot of hurdles to go through to get the building up and running in terms of getting the construction started. So I was able to help with that. I'm no expert, but we worked through it and did all we needed to do to commence the renovation.
What was the brief from the client? Devar House is a health and wellness space now with the cafe.
Yeah.
What was the brief?
Really, it was a medical facility that had to come into this house, and yeah, of course, it sort of lends itself to that. And the precinct, South Terrace, there's lots of those sorts of things. So yeah, had to just create lovely spaces. And the other constraints really were in regard to the equipment that was already ordered. So a lot of really quite high-tech, very heavy, large equipment had to come into these areas, which you'll see. And so we had to sort of make sure that the spaces were available to do that, and also for access, which was very, very much of a challenge for some of the bigger pieces of equipment.
Now, Marshall Brougham, been around for over 70 years.
75 now.
75 years, there you go. What exciting projects, what else is on the go?
We've got a few things. I think it's been a pretty active year. The industry, I think you'd say, is still very active. Commercial-wise, there's a fair bit of work on. We've got interesting, projects that we're doing, some apartments and a car dealership and some school work and some varied projects for the year.
There's a Pilates class starting in 10 minutes. Shall we have a crack?
I think you should get going.
Oh, what about you?
I'm obviously dressed for it.
Wow, you really can feel Andrew and the team's commitment to excellence here. It's no wonder they're such a highly awarded organisation. Stick around because we've got heaps more coming up after the break.
Are you tired of that old, outdated brick facade on your building? Looking to transform it into a modern masterpiece? Look no further than Bianco Construction and Industrial Supplies. Acrylock Texture is your ticket to modernising your home or building with their premium quality exterior coatings. The Australian-made Acrylock products include cement renders, texture coats and protective membranes that are guaranteed to give you your desired finish no matter what the surface. Their cement renders and acrylic texture coats are ideal for DIY makeovers that won't cost the earth. Their texture and membranes can be tinted too in a large range of colours right here in store at Bianco. Choosing the correct product is a decision that's never easy for most people, but you can trust the experts at Bianco to guide you in the right direction. Come down to SA's most trusted construction and industrial supplier and check out the range for yourself. Okay, Mum. Yeah, I gotta go, Mum. My battery's running low. Okay, bye-bye, love you. Well, there you have it. Proof that we are more connected, more than we ever have been before. We're always watching something in today's society, listening, downloading, streaming, which means as a result, we're always looking to charge to get that much-needed reboot. Ryan, there's nothing more ominous in today's society than when your battery sign is like on red. We all go searching for a charge to get that boost that we need. What are the dangers of doing this incorrectly?
Well, I guess the dangers are, Terry, that you're going to have a fire start. Now, that sounds very doom and gloom, but there's lots of easy things that you can do to stop that happening. One is just to not charge your electrical items on flammable surfaces. Okay. For example, you don't want to charge your phone in your bed sheets because, like you said, it heats up and it could potentially start a fire. So you want to store it on something that's non-flammable.
Okay, so you find the right spot to charge the correct device, and then all of a sudden everyone else is plugging into that area. How do you know when you're overloading?
Well, one rule of thumb that you could use is one power board with a cutoff switch from one power point. You don't want to piggyback power board onto power board like a lot of us have done in the past. That's a really dangerous thing to do because it can cause overheating and then lead to a fire starting.
Not all power boards have a cut-off switch. If you've got an old power board, is there a chance that it might not have one? And how do you know if you've got one?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's just got the little switch on it that will activate automatically. If you don't have that on yours, I'd consider spending the money to get one. It's a small investment when you consider that the end result could be a fire starting. So It's worth just replacing.
Should you always use the dedicated charge and cables that have been given for a certain item and not sort of cross over, you know, that cable for that product and start to play, you know, mix and match?
Absolutely. You definitely want to follow the manufacturer's instructions. Gotcha. It's a big pamphlet that we don't want to read because it looks long and boring, but it has the potential to save your life and it will enable you to use that item properly.
Are there other hazards that we might not know about that we should be aware of?
Absolutely. I mean, the list is long, but consider how you store chemicals and fuels.
Like in the shed?
Absolutely. Make sure that they're labelled, for one. You don't want to end up mixing chemicals with each other. Make sure the area is well ventilated. That's a big one.
Quite often we can just whack the tins of paint or the fuels in the shed or in a cupboard and close the door. Not best practice?
Definitely not. If the area is not well ventilated, what can happen is fuel, for example, highly flammable, will release a vapour. And if that area isn't well ventilated, it can create a flammable atmosphere. And if an ignition source is introduced, it can explode.
Right, as much as I like seeing you, mate, I don't want to see you because you've come out to fix that.
I'm glad you said that. And that's a great opportunity as to why we're here, because we don't want to see you, we don't want to see the public on those terms.
In my humble opinion, mate, you're more of a Mr. January or a Mr. February. There you have it, folks. Following those simple daily activities and also being aware of the safety precautions as outlined by Ryan will quite simply save lives. Now, if you want to know more information, visit the MFS website. I got to take this. Hi, Mum. See you, Ryan. Yes, my phone was on charge.
Wow, Devar House, take a bow.
Absolutely. What was the favourite part of today's episode for you?
Oh, I just love chatting to Josephine. Her passion is so pure. And what about Adelaide Green Homes? What a great vibe.
Yeah, there's more from them in the coming episodes. I love talking to Andrew, I love talking to Fiona, and that timely reminder from the MFS. I'm going to go make a booking in there, though.
I might see you in there, Terry.
But first, let's see what's on next week's show.
Detellis Homes are our feature partner next week as we pop in to visit not 1, not 2, but 3 of their display homes right next to each other. We learn all about important bushfire protection for your home, and we get an update on managing wastewater. Terry also gets some insights on new public housing and checks in once more with our friends at Bianco.
Jessica wasn't joking, she's in there making a booking now. If you're looking for a treatment, Pilates, facial, sauna, ice bath, or maybe even just a latte, come and check out Devar House. You will not be disappointed. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks to the Master Builders, state government, and to all of our contributors. Guess what? We'll be here again next week. Look forward to seeing you then.